Hi, if you're selling your house this year, can y'all sell it to real people and not companies?
What is the one question everyone asks when you're selling?
In 2013, we moved into our dream house in the dream neighborhood that we had always wanted to be in, and then 2 years later, we sold it.
Hey, what up? My forehead's cut off from the camera. I did not realize it.
Shout out to top people.
Heck yeah. Can never be anywhere. Anyway, we want to get a house in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And for that to happen, somebody needs to be selling the house.
Yep.
So that's what the subject is about today. I forgot what the subject was about in general. I don't know if it's issues or benefits or dips, but
It's pretty much just a mix of that, I guess.
I forgot completely. So
Because there's gonna be a lot of issues when selling houses and stuff, so you should also look out for that. Some people are just regretting purchasing them, so they're selling them pretty quickly. So yeah, there's just things to look out for when you're getting a house.
yeah. Also,
Not easy.
I think I saw in the comment section of the last videos that we were watching, someone saying that corporations have bought most of the houses that have been sold. Corporations bought them.
Yeah.
And that's ridiculous. They should not be allowed to do that.
They really shouldn't. It's a scam, and they're charging so much for it.
They are raising the house price themselves. That's why we're also screwed.
Yep, I bet they're taking all the profits from the seller and the realtor and all of that too.
And the loaner.
Yep.
They probably own the loaner.
Yeah. So
Ridiculous.
Hi, if you're selling your house this year, can y'all sell it to real people and not companies? I know it's weird, and I sold my house in 2020 in Texas, and when I sold it specifically to a veteran, even though he had a VA loan and it would take longer for him to get in, because I think that people deserve to have housing. So if you're selling your house this year, because guess how many? 44%. Guess how much? That's the percentage that private corporations own of homes in America. They own 44% of all homes. So when you're selling your home, how about just don't sell it to a company? Sell it to a person. Sell it to a family. Sell it to a person. How about that?
I can agree to that. Stop giving these companies land. They have done some crazy things in the past for some land.
mm-hmm.
If you look into corporation histories, they have done some war crimes to get some land.
Eminent domain.
For real, they have done some crazy stuff.
It's actually insane. Shout out to these people that took less money to sell to a family and not a corporation. Sometimes you just gotta be moral.
For real, that's honestly my moral thing. You're not gonna be living in this house. I'm not selling it to you.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna let you landlord my house out. Get out of here. What are you talking about?
Well, at that point, they might still do that after buying it, but
rather it be a private small landlord person than a landlord company.
Yeah. But this video was made a year ago, so I wonder if that number is up to 50% now.
Most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely.
And the housing prices are still going up.
Yeah, they are.
Thanks to them.
Actually, I think I heard there's some politicians that are trying to make it so that corporations can be buying houses out like that. They got be specific and stuff, and then they all got voted out. So,
well, and that would be good.
Yeah.
Corporations, right?
Yeah.
Hi everybody. Me and my fiance bought a house about a year ago, and we are selling it. I am a huge proponent of being open about finances and money and transparency and all of that. So I thought it would be fun to share our house selling journey. So we met with a realtor last week, I believe on Wednesday. And we talked numbers, talked about, what we owe on the principal of our house, all of that. We had professional photos taken of our house last night, so that our house can go on the market and be listed this Friday. I was very shocked to see what the numbers looked like on Wednesday. So I thought I would do a little breakdown for everybody of what all of this is going to look like. We bought our house we closed on May 12th of 2023. So we've had it for just a little over a year now. We bought our house for $235 with a $5,000 seller's credit. So we used half of that $5,000 to buy down our rate from 7.2 to 6.5%. That's what our rate is. And then the other $2,500 went towards our closing cost. Our total closing cost out the door whenever we bought our house was roughly $12,000. Might have been a little bit more than that. So that's what we paid for closing costs, down payment. Our down payment was $10,000. The remainder of that was closing costs, which was really shocking. I feel like nobody really tells you how much closing costs are. They're very expensive. You have to pay for inspections and appraisals and all sorts of things. We had to have our house inspected twice because the tiniest thing can cause you to fail your inspection. We had a branch that fell from a tree and was on our roof. No damage, nothing, just a little branch that needed to be pushed off of the roof. We had to get re-inspected once that branch was removed. We couldn't do the removal ourselves. We had to have a company come out and do it for us. So out the door, we paid about $12,000. We owed, $230,000 on our house. Like I said, we've owned it for a little bit over a year now, and off of our principal, we have paid 1 month's worth of our mortgage. Our mortgage is about $2,050 a month. So we still owe about $228,000 on our house. Because our interest rate is so high, that's part of the reason we're paying most of our monthly mortgage goes towards our interest rate rather than towards our principal on our house. So when we sat down with a realtor last week to go over what we want to sell our house for, because our realtor is very good, the family friend, and they're very good about listing your house for what it's worth to get you the most money possible. 9 times out of 10, the house with this realtor will be bought for asking price. So we are asking for $259 on our house. Our take home from that will be around $10,000. If we sell our house for $249, $10,000 less, our take home will be $800. So we will be selling our house for roughly $30,000 more than what we paid for it, and we will only be taking home $10,000. That does not even cover what we put into it initially. It does not cover the work we've done on our house. We painted the entire house, have replaced faucets, hardware, countertops, sink, all of that has been replaced here. So that was very shocking and very eye-opening to me. That's why they say you shouldn't buy a house if you're not going to live in it for at least 3 years so you can pay down some of your principal. You walk away with more money. We are paying our realtor. Their money comes out of what you make on the house. So our realtor fees for the buyer's realtor as well as our realtor that we're using to sell our house comes out to $12,000 roughly. So they're making more than what we're making. Granted, it's split between 2 people, so it's not really the same thing. But yeah, so I would love to answer any questions as we're going through this process. Like I said, our house will be listed on this Friday. We're gonna have open houses and people are gonna come see our house. So we have to be really diligent about keeping it clean, which our space is typically clean, but vacuuming every day, making sure the counters are clean, putting dishes away because somebody can come to view our house whenever. Of course, they give us notice and we can turn it down if we want, but we're trying to sell our house rather quickly. So we don't want to turn down very many tours. So yeah, I just thought that this is a very interesting thing for a 22, 23-year-old to be kind of going through and experiencing for the first time. And there's a lot of things that I certainly did not know when entering this process and, going through it. Me and Hunter both, we did some research, but there's just some things that you don't know about until you experience it yourself. So I thought it would be really cool to share our journey in all of this, how quickly our house sells, what we end up actually selling it for. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.
Lakeland. I've probably heard about Lakeland. It's not in Texas. Well, that explains how a 23 and 22-year-old can get a house so fast, honestly, and why it's so cheap. But The thing is, I actually kind of wonder like what they're doing with their lives. They can afford a house like that with mortgage. I know it's a mortgage too, so
Yeah.
this is good. But anyway, that's why these houses are so expensive nowadays. They're not making any money back on these sales. That's why you see $100,000 house going for $300,000. They need money back,
Exactly.
and it sucks. And the only person who can really afford that are the corporations.
Yep. And the appreciation is sometimes in the seller's favor, but then it like screws over the buyer because it's just appreciating because of like interest, the market, or whatever else. And it's like, but it's the same house and they got it for so much cheaper a few years ago. So it's crazy how it all works. And they're probably selling and they're going to get negative in return.
Yeah, the appreciations because everyone's making apartments.
Yep.
And then the houses that are being built are like $700,000.
Exactly.
So your busted down 1-bedroom house is going to be able to sell for $300,000 because there's just no other house. There's no other choice.
Yeah, and inflation and the cost of materials and all of that. And then if your house doesn't appreciate, then you're really screwed because you're just going to be making a lot of like negative back. Sucks.
It sucks. And then don't get me started on the appreciators. Turns out some appreciators don't like it when you're not the same race as them.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, they're this, so they must be like inconsiderate about their own house.
Insane.
So like, it's just everything sucks.
It really does.
Please don't make this mistake when you're selling your house. I bought my house 10 years ago for $200,000 and now it's worth $500,000. Lovely, a $300,000 gain. You're going to owe a lot in taxes. Nope, I'll be doing a 1031 exchange. Smart. A 1031 exchange lets you sell an investment property and use the money to buy another similar property without paying taxes on the profit right away. Exactly, I'm in the clear. Except you're not. What do you mean? You already sold the house and did not use a qualified intermediary to facilitate it. A what? The QI holds the funds from the sale of the original property and helps ensure that the exchange meets IRS requirements. So, because I already took possession of the money from the sale, the exchange will be disqualified? But I didn't know. What can I do? Nothing. Pay up. Follow along so these types of things don't happen to you.
Nothing. Nothing. You can do nothing.
That sucks. And then like to have to buy another house to even get all of that, is it really worth it? Because like property taxes, you don't have to pay all the taxes, but like you still have to pay an upkeep for the house.
Yeah.
It's too much, like 2 houses, but that's like 2 times more trouble, more bills, all of that.
Well, it's 2 times shut up and give me my money. I'm the IRS.
And then it has to be a rental property, so then you have to deal with tenants. I don't want to be a landlord. I
Me
really
neither.
don't.
My morals will not let me be a landlord.
Well, like you don't have to always raise the rent, but like if you want to cover bills, you probably have to.
Yeah.
But then you also don't want to get woken up at like 3 a.m. because their pipes are busted or whatever.
Yeah, no. That single mother in my house with 25 kids, I gotta raise her rent. Sorry. I gotta raise her rent. As soon as you became a landlord, you seek out single mothers to raise the rent on.
That really sucks. I guess you don't always have to, depending on like, I don't know how much the bills are or whatever, but like sometimes.
No, they're like vampires. As soon as you become landlord, you have to, or you're gonna die. You gotta feed. So you gotta raise that rent on a single mother.
Unless you want to just run like a house rental charity, I don't know.
That's not gonna be profitable.
Just cover part of the bills out of pocket or something.
That's the hardest part. Some people want to try to do that, and it's impossible to do it.
Yeah,
It sucks.
we're all screwed.
It's over.
So this is mildly terrifying and no one seems to be talking about it. I was just talking to one of my realtor friends and she noticed a pattern that's pretty disturbing. She's been getting a lot of new listings for homes for sale recently, but not because somebody got a better job or is moving out of the city. getting a bigger house, or whatever. They're selling their house because they financially can't afford it anymore. And that's scary because a few years ago, rates were dirt cheap, payments were really low. So now trying to get into the market again is basically impossible for them, which means they have to go rent, which is 30% higher than it was before the pandemic, or they have one other option. You guessed it, moving back in with mommy and daddy. According to this article, over the last few years, the number of millennials moving back into their parents' houses has gone up by 87%. That's millions and millions of people that had to give up living on their own and move back to their childhood house. It's now estimated that 16% of all millennials are living back at home. Now, of course, not all millennials are having to sell a house to move back in with their parents, but the fact that these two trends are happening at the same time is kind of worrisome. See, owning a home is the #1 driver of wealth in the country. And instead of younger generations being able to make that happen for themselves the way their parents did, they're actually having to regress and rely on the wealth that their parents generated when it was actually an option. Have you had to make a decision like that, or would you go live back with your parents?
And that's even worse for like married couples, because like it's gonna be awkward. Gonna be weird. You live in an apartment, you get your own house, or you move back to your parents, and this is gonna be a whole bunch of hullabaloo right there.
Yep.
So you're stuck.
Yeah.
Why everyone's so lonely nowadays? Because they don't have the money to even be in a relationship.
Exactly. But then sometimes being in a relationship benefits you because like you can split the bills and stuff, but even then sometimes that's not enough.
It's not enough anymore, because dual income households are not enough to pay for the household anymore.
Yep.
Because if you have 2 jobs and you can't pay the bills, what makes you think that someone else with another job is going to help you pay the bills as well? You're going to need like 3 jobs each.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous.
It's too much. The way this is built is just crazy for real.
It was built in a way to benefit a certain group of people, and then that certain group of people benefited, but then they didn't realize that people below them needed something to help the economy still move. And so now that the people down the bottom can't do anything and they won't do anything, people at the top are screwed over, and it makes everyone else screwed over.
For real. And like this person says, multi-generational homes are the new normal, because like you can get a really good deal on those, and then you get like more space too, and then like different sections, so that you could have future generations just living on a different level, and then you just pretty much get like 3 whatever for the price of 1.
Yeah. Also, that's been happening in like every other nation since the beginning of time. We're just weirdos about it. That's the only issue. We were the weirdos.
Exactly.
So that's why probably they're all doing so much better already.
For real, I would get that, and then get like a bunch of RVs too. Put it on the land, put like ADUs all over the land, and that there you go. You have even more space, and you can just kind of pretty much hack the system.
Yeah.
And there you go.
It's crazy.
For real.
What is the one question everyone asks when you're selling? And should you answer it truthfully? Why are they selling? I think people ask because human beings are naturally curious, but they also ask to use it in negotiation against you. So if I'm representing someone in the middle of a divorce or in bankruptcy, that information is confidential. I never tell buyers or other agents the reason for the sale. In the case of a court approval, eventually you have to tell a buyer, but not before an offer is just about to be accepted. Otherwise, no one needs to know. Typical answers are upsizing, downsizing, relocating. Oftentimes, buyers or their agents will Google sellers to see what information they can find. Anytime the listing agent is selling a property that has to be sold, they never want to convey that information. Because what do buyers do? They say, oh, we'll just wait. We'll wait until they get desperate. So sometimes I make up a story. You are looking at a home for sale. You have no right to insights to my clients' lives. Why are they selling? It doesn't matter. Do you like the house? Do you want to make an offer on the house? Does having the information of why they're selling affect your desire for that property any more or less? Now, there are things by law in California that we are required to disclose, but not to people just walking through viewing the property. Things like a death on the property in the last 3 years, if there was a murder or some other violent crime. But that information is for people who write offers on the property Are they moving because they hate their neighbor? That's also going to be on the disclosures, which will say something like, have had challenges with neighbor in the past. Not information for people walking through the home. So when you're looking at property to buy, see how often you ask, why are they selling? And ask yourself, why are you asking? And has any answer swayed you one way or another from being interested in a property?
Why are you selling this house? Why are you asking?
It's just nosiness at that point.
Don't worry about it. Buy the house or not.
It's like, I get it. You want to know as much information as possible because it's a lot of money to be investing.
Yeah.
But like, still.
The only thing I would worry about is murdered. Why they get murdered in the house? Someone die in it?
Yeah.
Because at that point, they can sell me for cheaper.
Yeah, and like, is the murderer still out there? Are they gonna come back for me?
It's the murderer in the walls right now as we speak.
Exactly, that's the problem.
For real.
But I really don't care any other way.
No.
Really don't.
Okay, homeowners, I'm going to need you to listen up. If you don't listen to anything else on this freaking app today, just please stick around and listen to me. I would rather you use one of these freaking things to sell your house than sell it to one of those companies that buy your house for market value. Story time. So back in 2018, an agent helped a vet purchase a home. And a couple months ago, she was surprised to see that home was listed. Sure enough, it was listed through one of these companies that purchased the house from him. So she called him up like, hey, what happened? And turns out, this person, not everybody really understands what's going on around them. Not everyone's on social media. Not everyone understands the housing market, whatnot. And she said, they reached out to me and I was kind of in a bind. So I thought it was an easier route to go. And, he was like, it's just sad that I didn't really make any money. So she did some digging. He gave her the paperwork and look at this. So this company bought the house from him for $237,500. It is now relisted and under contract. It was relisted for $284,900. So right off the bat, we're talking $50,000. And I went through the pictures. It all looks the same. But here's where it gets really interesting, because I'll be honest with you, I've never really seen one of these settlement statements. This company charged him 6%. 6% for an off-market deal. Wasn't on the market, no photos, no negotiating, no nothing. Charge them 6%. And I'll be honest with you, in my area, I can't remember the last time A, I charged 6% or B, received half of 6% on the buy side. Then there's this additional like $11,000 CNR. I'm thinking credit and repairs. So now we're up to $25,000. But wait, there's more. I believe somehow an agent referred this person to one of these companies, and they get a cut too, a tune of $3,000 and change. So now we're up to $27,000. Something else that pisses me off. Remember that credit and repair thing? Obviously, they did some sort of inspection, right? If they felt the need to get $11,000 out of him for repairs, then why are we putting no representation on the property disclosures? This seller could have sold his house for $285,000 with a probably 4.5% to 5.5% commission. And definitely not $11,000 in repairs. Basically, he's paying 6% for the relist side, the side he has nothing to do with. This is ridiculous, and I want homeowners to be smart about making these decisions.
I would never have thought about that. We buy houses, people. They could be corporations the entire time, and they can just be scared. I never thought about that.
It's actually insane.
That has to be illegal.
It has to be. Like, all these people are trying to do is screw you over. You gotta really do research on stuff.
And this is why Robin Hood is the best character, and all your morals should come from Robin Hood himself. No, not Robin Hood, the Joker. Blow up corporations. I'm joking. Please don't do that. I'm joking.
Just don't trust him.
Don't trust him, though. Don't trust him.
For real. Actually crazy.
You listed your house 2 weeks ago and you've had 0 showing. What are you going to do about it? My name's Liz. I sell real estate in Charlottesville and Richmond, Virginia, and I may be in this situation right now. Not my own house. House that I listed. the garbage. Sometimes when you list a house, look at all the data, and the data is like 100% this is the price. And then you put the house on the market and it's like, just kidding. You're like, what do you mean this data?
The thing is that data is from 6 months ago. Well, up to 6 months ago.
And today's a new day in real estate. So what do you do? Well, what we did was all the marketing that you think you can do in the world, you do that. You do the ads, you do the video, you put it everywhere on the internet, you talk to all the humans that you know that might be wanting this house, you reverse prospect, you do all the things. And then, still no dice, you do a price reduction of 3 to 5%. If you're feeling frisky, you do an open house, but not before the price reduction.
Have you done all those things?
Let me know how it's going in the comments, and I'll let you know how the open house goes tomorrow.
At this darling house.
That looks like a nice house. I'll take it.
It does.
Here, now here's the funny thing, actually, because once again, we have done a video of looking at houses. We need to do a video of looking at houses again, but in a better way, with better editing and stuff. Anyway, there's a house that we see that is sitting, and it's for like, what, 300,000? And it's like, basically like a $600,000 house. And it's just sitting there. It's not sold yet. The reason it's not sold yet is full of termites. So every second that house sits, it's getting more and more destroyed. And it's a nice house.
Yep.
And I want it, but I'm not paying that much money for that.
And it should be a crime that they just let that mess sit. Like, pay somebody to just come in there and fix that problem. And then maybe they could just add that cost to the house.
Yeah, I'll take it, bro. I'll take it. It's a $1 million house. It's being sold for 300,000. It's just damage. I'll take it.
Exactly. Like, come on. Actually insane that they do this.
I'll live on the land in the RV myself, and I'll fix that house. I'll fix that issue. Just give me that house.
I'll take the land.
Me too.
I'll take all of it for real.
In 2013, we moved into our dream house in the dream neighborhood that we had always wanted to be in, and then 2 years later, we sold it. No, this was not some strategic plan on our part. The fact of the matter is that once we moved into the house that we always thought we wanted, we realized it wasn't as great as we thought. Now, a lot of people told us we're stupid for not knowing this sooner, but the thing is, a lot of us do this all the time. I still think back to the time when Krispy Kreme donuts first arrived in Minnesota and everyone was talking about it. It was on the news and there was a line around the block. So my friends and I went out of our way. We have to go to Krispy Kreme. And we went there and we got these donuts and we were so psyched up because they were the best donuts and everyone had hyped them up so much. And I remember taking a bite and being like, meh. But I kept pretending that donut was amazing, right? Because everyone else thought it was amazing. So if it wasn't, there's probably something wrong with me. This is exactly how it went down when I finally had everything I had ever thought I wanted. And I'm breaking it all down in my Substack. I have a downsizing series where every Wednesday I share with you a little bit more about our downsizing journey.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, dog. I'm not going that link. I'm not looking it up. I do not care enough. I'm sorry. But that's really what it is, because a lot of things in life aren't as cool as they seem.
Exactly. And just, it's a lot of money to be going into a house. So don't just be sold on pictures or whatever they say.
Yeah.
Just make sure it meets your minimum requirements that you need to live. And then like everything else is just extra.
It is.
And you can always fix it up if you need something else specific. But if it's there, it's a roof, just get it.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, townhouses are looking really dope.
It really is at this point, and it's sad for real.
And the worst part about it, townhouses were really cheap when we're thinking about it and like, oh, we don't want to go to a North townhouse. We want space.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're as much as houses. And that is not okay.
Which is insane because they're made to benefit the corporations anyway, because they don't have to spend so much money on more land and more materials and all of that. They can save money by building these.
Yeah, they legit like, oh, we have this plot of land. Let's put every house right next to each other.
Yep, and pretty soon I bet the single family houses are going to be like $1 million everywhere, and then the townhomes are going to be maybe like $600K.
And I can tell you this one thing: the federal minimum wage is not going to raise 1 cent.
Nope.
We're still on 2000s before 9/11 happened.
Yeah, it's not fun out here.
It's not. It's ridiculous. How can we? And that makes no sense. How can we raise the price of everything, but no one's pay is being raised?
Exactly.
Like, yeah, overall, your job most likely is paying you more, but the minimum is not being raised. Why not?
It's really not.
It's obvious that it's not the minimum being raised that's the issue, and things are going up. So let's stop saying that.
I want one of those jobs that account for inflation. Like, they will give you an inflation bonus every year.
For real. And that's how it's always been, because this is how the economy works. If the pay's not going up, how is the economy going to go up?
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, houses suck.
It really does.
It's ridiculous.
Just beware, I guess.
Yeah, beware. Don't sell houses to people without knowing what they really are. Especially if you don't want to sell to a corporation.
Yep.
And that's about it for me.
But thank you for watching the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video, and please get us to 1,000 subscribers.
Bye, guys.
Bye.